Have you ever gone through a season in your life where everything is falling apart? Everything that could go wrong, did go wrong, is going wrong. And in the thick of it all, it feels like it's always going to be wrong. So much so that at the end of it, you're left feeling like you don't even know yourself anymore. Well, I went through such a time as that recently, and I'm just at the point where I'm coming out of it. And I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've learned in this part of my healing journey. And those of you that know me know I am about lessons learned from life. What is it that God wants to teach us through our difficulties, our challenges in life? And when we have those times of loss, or where we don't understand what God is doing, we don't even know if he's there. We can waver in our faith that much. But there's always a lesson in it. And it's during those times I found that that's when God is pruning my life. I know that each of us have a purpose. Like, there's a reason we were put on this earth. And it's not just to get up, go to work, get dressed, come back, go to school, whatever it is that we're doing on the day to day. It's more than that. And I know that I say it like this, that the person we became is the sum total of our life experiences up to any given point. And when God allows these dark seasons to come upon us, it's because he's saying, hey, it's time. I'm ready to take you to another level in me. But you got some things that are preventing you from being who I need you to be. And not only who I need you to be, but who I created you to be. And so when God took me on this journey started back in 2023, and it went for a good year and a half. And for those of you that have been here for a while, I did the series 365 Days Through the Bible, where we read through the entire Bible in 1 year. And it's not the first time that I've done that. I actually got that Bible back in the early 2000s, and I can't say I read it every day and went through it every year, but there are times that I have done it before. And I felt so strong in my spirit. I heard God tell me, not audibly, but just that sense of urgency in my spirit, read this Bible, go through this process with me for a year, and I need you in this word every day. Now, mind you, this is an instruction for me. I'm not saying this is what you have to do, but this is what God told me to do. And so I said, okay, when I hear it like that, I know God is really doing it for a reason, like he means business. So I said, okay, I'm going to record it. I'm going to record it on YouTube, and I'm going to let the YouTube community, not only be my accountability partner, but that hopefully you would be blessed by it as well. And so throughout this year, I say I was in the refiner's fire. And one, it started with a layoff. My company, closed our treatment center unexpectedly. We were all out of a job. And for those of you that know, I'm in the field of behavioral health. And typically when I leave a job, I always have a job set up. So I go from one to the next. But this time it wasn't like that. And I was unemployed for 7 months. And it took every ounce of faith that I had to keep my head above water, not just financially, but mentally and emotionally, and to keep myself well physically. But it was during this time of stripping or of pruning where I learned a new level of trust in God. And for those of you that have been here with me for a while, I've shared with you before that about 30 years ago, I went to prison. I lost my freedom and I did time in the system. And throughout that time is when my true healing journey began. And I read scriptures like, be renewed in the spirit of your mind, take every thought captive. Don't be conformed to the world, but be ye transformed. So it was all these scriptures, and it was talking about this inner work that we need to do as his children. And so my life, I embarked on this lifelong healing journey, and got out of prison, came back, had a very successful reintegration back into society. And I've been free for a very long time. And over the years, I've been able to share my lived experience with my clients to show them that it is possible to change, that your life can be like you never thought it could be. You can have beauty, you can have your career, you can have success in whatever way you define success. But for me, it was spiritual. It was a spiritual transformation that was taking place throughout the years. And so I thought I was well, everything was good, going good. But then I, hit this bump in the road, lost my job. And in the process of me reading this word, it was going to keep me anchored. Like it was going to keep my soul anchored so that as my life was going through all these changes and I was in the midst of constriction, if you've ever been through a time in your life like that, you know what I'm talking about, where I have freedom to move around, but it feels like my space is so small, all I can do is just move in a circle. And during this time, God revealed to me that all the work I was doing was great, but I was using it as a defense mechanism. I was addicted to busyness and staying busy, and that there was still some things that were broken inside of me, that there were still some wounds that were open that I didn't know that needed to be healed, that needed to be touched. And it's not that God didn't have the power to heal. It's just that I had not, one, accepted the awareness of them, and two, I hadn't offered them, and I hadn't invited him in to touch and to heal and to make those changes inside of me. And it wasn't until I was stretched in this way that I realized, one, I was hiding. Two, I still carried shame from that lived experience, from my past. And I know that our past does not define us, but there was still a hidden place in me that didn't believe that. And I didn't know I didn't believe that until this time here, this time in the fire. And I was asked to speak at a conference. And two things that happened during that. It was cross country, which means I had to fly in the plane. And anybody that knows me knows I don't like to fly. I will fly if I have to, but I don't find it pleasurable. And for some reason, I don't know where I developed this fear of flying. It had to have been somewhere in childhood. I have no idea. But I carried this with me. And so that was another stretching. So I flew cross country, did the speaking engagement. But in the process of preparing for that, God was revealing more and more things that I was holding on to that were, one, going to prevent me from being who it is that he's fully created me to be. And two, for me to have the faith and the courage it was going to take for me to elevate in the way that he was taking me. And any of you that have gone through your season with God in that pruning and in the refiner's fire, you know he's teaching you that your comfort zone can become its own spiritual and emotional prison. And that's what had happened to me. And I didn't know. And he was so loving and so gentle in that at the end of it all, I am experiencing life today like I've never experienced it before. And this series, I'm calling it Starting Over in My 50s, my healing journey, because I'm hoping that what I share with you or lessons I've learned or things I hear back from you in the comments, that we can do this together, because all the chaos that we're experiencing in the world, in our nation, United States of America, we need support. We need a helpful place, a safe space to talk. We need a safe space where we can release some of this tension and the fear and the anxiety that uncertainty can cause. Because a lot of us have been comfortable for years and we didn't know, but life is forcing us to move out and to move into a place where it feels like we're in a free fall. But it's in that place that God is saying, this is the faith zone. This is where I need you to be in order for me to love on you in a way that this love will permeate through the walls that you still have around your heart. And the journey is never easy. It's very painful at times, but when you make it through to the other side and you look back and all those things and times that seem so confusing, seem so hurtful, so painful, it makes sense. And on the other side of my shame, what I realized is that had I not gone through everything I've gone through in my life, good, bad, and different, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't be the person that has the courage to sit in front of this camera and be vulnerable, be transparent, in hopes that what I share, what I say, what I've been through can help somebody else make it through to the other side of their journey. So this process of becoming, just know it's not a destination. It's actually a lifelong journey. And everything you're experiencing, everything you may be feeling right now in this moment, it is normal. Even if it's just a part of your grief process, just know it's normal to grieve. It's normal to be sad sometimes. It's normal to be afraid. But what God is saying, invite me in to those tough places. Let me help you out. Let me show you the way up and out. Because I have something for you that is greater than you could ever have imagined. It tells us that in Ephesians 3:20. It says that what he has for us and what he's ordained for us is greater than we could ever ask or imagine. All God wants us to do is give him permission to come in. And just like in Revelation where it says, Jesus, he stands at the door and knocks. It's the door of our heart. It's the door of that innermost being. It's the mind. It's the habitual part of our thinking process. It's in our emotions. He says, let me in and let me do what I need to do so that you can be and do what I need you to do. There are leaders on the other side of this camera. And God is saying, look, all these people are waiting for you to become her or to become him, to become that person that understands everything I allowed in your life was for you to be able to help another person. So like Gideon, mighty woman of valor, mighty man of valor, come forth and lead. Be courageous, be of a good mind, of a good heart. And just know that if you weren't able to do it, you wouldn't have the desire in your heart to do it. And I can almost guarantee there is some desire in your heart that you don't believe will ever be able to be made manifest in your life, whether it's from your own self-limiting beliefs or if it's from your past lived experience. But just know those things that may be a stumbling block for other people, because you have been called by God, chosen by God, those are stepping stones for you. And you will get eventually to the place where it all makes sense. Just hang in there, trust the process, trust God in the process, and all will be well in the end. So hopefully you'll stick with me, go on this journey with me, and we can make it through this thing together. Love and blessings. Bye-bye.